opinions stated in this podcast do not reflect the opinions of the Alestle or SIUE as a whole. Welcome back to another episode of Alestle After Hours. I am Sam Murin, joining you here for our 180th episode now of the Alestle After Hours podcast, and I have two very special guests joining me. A familiar voice. You've heard him quite a bit over the summer, probably because he lives the closest to the studio and is the only one willing to join. Managing Editor Gavin Quinlan. Gavin, how are you?
Living the dream.
He's just chugging along here. And then we have a new voice joining us this week, a recently hired copy editor, Leila Brown. Leila, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us today. Are you excited to be questioned by everyone here and on how you're doing and how you're enjoying the Alestle? No?
I am, yeah.
Okay, good. So for those that really don't tune in very often, Alestle After Hours is really just a podcast about behind the scenes of working at the newspaper and also what it's like to be a college journalist because, we're doing two things at once. We're doing a real-time job, a big adult job or something like that, and also school along with it. Everyone kind of has their own path through that. So Leila, we're excited to have a new voice for people to analyze and see how they do their kind of work behind the scenes at the Alestle. So well, why don't we just jump right into it? Why work at the Alestle, Leila? What's so fascinating about working at a newspaper that brings you here?
So I switched my major to English recently from psychology because I wanted to be skilled in an art that I love doing. I love writing. And I know that's what I want to do as a career is write books and be lazy. So I figured what I could do right now is learn to write for a newspaper. So I wanted to get that writing practice in. I also am really interested in journalism and all that stuff. And it feels really important what I'm doing. So yeah.
Very cool. I have to ask though, what type of books do you want to write? Are you going to be a fiction writer, nonfiction? What are we going? Are you talking about yourself, or are you going to be writing stories?
So from what I've heard, novels are what make the big bucks.
I get that bag. I am a judge.
But I really do struggle with telling fiction stories. But I journal very, very, very heavily. I journal, and I think I'm the best at telling stories about me and what's happened to myself in the past already. So I guess it would be more of a autobiographical thing, or maybe I'm collecting stories from people.
That would be cool.
See, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. So that kind of ties in the journalism thing too a little bit.
Yeah, especially with I'm from St. Louis, and I don't see a lot of St. Louis in the media, although it's one of the most important cities in America. As far as its history goes.
You and I are gonna get along very well. St. Louis is my bread and breakfast. So
yeah, I saw you were a Blues fan.
Yeah, rock on, dude. Yeah. Rock on. Yes. No, that sounds wonderful. I'm excited, and I can't wait to read all about St. Louis in your future. I'll be buying all your books. All you have to do is slap the arch on it, and I'm like, oh, that book looks good. Well, I'm glad you're here. We're glad to have you. Obviously, your role as a copy editor is not so. I mean, you can write, obviously, but is more focusing on judging other people's writing, like mine and Gavin's here, which we need. We need a little bit of judgment in our writing. Tell us a little bit about how that's been going for you and kind of why and what you're gaining out of it.
So when I started, I know I was a little bit more trying to stick by the books, and then I kind of lost practice because I spent a week writing more than I was copy editing. But I basically have lost my eye that I need for copy editing, I think. Basically, house rules and all that stuff. So yeah, I have a little checklist that I go by now when I'm looking at people's articles. But honestly, the past few ones that I've looked at, I really just enjoyed reading them on their own, because each writer clearly has their own voice and their own interests in that show up in that paper. And yeah, I really just enjoy reading other people's writing. but it's been, I've enjoyed it so far.
That's good. That's good. I think Gavin can testify this, but like as news, well, one of the perks of being like an editor, whether it's a copy editor or a section editor, is you get to read all these stories. But as a section editor, you only get to read your section. So you, as the news guy, you're just stuck reading all the sad news. Meanwhile, Destiny over there is reading all these wonderful, happy times in life.
Yeah.
But Gavin, you can probably verify that it's really sad.
I can. Well, I just wanted to add that, I mean, being an editor is really fun just because if you do it for long enough, then you get to see people's voice kind of change as they write more articles as well. And I think that's probably my favorite part, is seeing how much, especially like more recently hired reporters, like change their style of writing and how they grow and how they kind of just learn through experience. And it's so fun getting to see that, like, maybe this person wasn't fully here a few months ago, but now they're like doing amazing. And it's so, gratifying to see that, I guess.
Yeah, and Leila, you'll probably pick up on that too. As you even copy edit, you'll just gain those skills. Especially house rules are tough, and you're talking to someone who really thinks some rules are dumb too. So like even with AP, like they just make me mad. Like we talk about this all the time. A lot of people reference this. The Oxford comma is a very common one where people are so committed to this comma.
Yeah.
Mine is capitalization of certain things, and the use of percent. We use the we don't use the sign percent. We use spell it out.
Yeah.
Whatever, dude.
It's the weird numbers, and then the certain like acronyms for certain things.
Yeah. No, you're. Don't worry. You'll get a hold of it eventually, or you won't. Like me, you just won't get a hold of it, and you'll be here. You'll be talking.
I still struggle with more than instead of over. Like I always write like over 90% or whatever, and then it ends up it actually has to be more than. It's like
just
like,
screw
who
you.
made
AP.
that up?
Yeah, right.
Some guy in his basement,
Some guy
writing all the time. Probably has 10,000 million words written. I don't know. I don't know. It's a pet peeve of mine, but we go by the book, like you said, and that's it's a good standard to hold, obviously, for journalism. So, now you did write a story. You said, tell us a little bit about that and how that went for you.
So my most recent story, I wrote about the grant that we got to preserve the collection of Peruvian textiles that we have in our university museum storage. I really enjoyed writing that story because I could tell, like, when I went to interview Miss Vigneault, she was so excited to talk about the museum, and I was excited to give her that platform too, because we have so many cool things there, like in 40,000 pieces, like it's a lot, and it's from all over the country, I mean all over the world. A lot of like ancient artifacts and things you would have never even imagined were here. And I do hope that we get to see more of that, like as we walk around, because there isn't much of an art scene here. But we have so many artistic and creative like students here and visions here. And I hope that with this article, I can put a spotlight on those more like artistic visions for our school, because all that stuff that's in there is like really cool, basically. Yeah. And I know we have some things like on display throughout the school, but I feel like people just don't really like pay attention to them. So
no, I think that's fair. But your initial point of like the reaction from the person you interviewed, those are to me that's what makes writing so fun and reporting, because you're either seeing the emotion of their venting a frustration or displeasure, and you get to gratify that, and by telling that frustration that maybe it's not heard wherever it's going,
right.
Or on the opposite, you're accentuating someone's joy and what they're passionate about. That's really really awesome. And I think you'll find more of that if you write more, which you should, because it's really worth it. Now, you got to work with the guy sitting next to you, the news editor right there.
Yeah.
Tell us what it's like working under Gavin, and did he like lead you astray or anything like that?
No,
It's okay. You don't have to lie, even though he's sitting right in front of us.
Just pretend I'm not here.
Yeah.
let me say, Gavin is so good at his job.
Yeah.
But-
She's going for that promotion.
Honestly, though, he's very detail oriented. When explaining things, just very like friendly and very down to earth, and he really is fun to work with. Yeah.
Good. Well, we've had him on the show 3 times over the summer, so it's probably good that we validate him a little bit. Gavin, what about Leila? How did you feel about this big first story for her?
Well, I should preface with that I was also very excited just for like the topic of the story straight up. So I was really excited to see it come through, and I was so happy to get to help out and see just like what quotes you're able to pull, because you pulled really good quotes, which as an editor is like that's what gives you faith, is that this person's asking the right questions, that they're getting such like informative and detailed responses from their sources. And I really think you made the most out of the interview that you had, and I was just very pleased with how that story turned out in the end.
Another point of the quotes, though, like when you draw good quotes, the editor can't fix that, because like you could just pull a quote and they don't know what else was said at that time. So we could fix all the other stuff around the quotes, but if you don't pull a good quote, no one's gonna know what the interview was like. Only you have that experience, so that's good skill to have. High compliment. Gavin, let's transition into all this news that we've been getting that has been swamping our feeds. Tell us a little bit about all that, and kind of the background perspective that you can give.
Well, I guess my personal perspective, just being the news editor, I was very, very pleased that our last summer edition would go out with such a bang, just because we had so much more news this edition than we have in the past.
Especially online, too, at that.
Yeah, because this is my first... This is my first edition as managing editor that I was able to actually fill up the newsletter with all of the news, because usually I don't have enough news stories because, summer's so slow, but there's just so much cool stuff to spotlight and so many things happening that I was just really excited that, I guess I had some choices for that, and, just getting to see so many reporters going hard to work and putting out all of this, useful intel for the SIUE community.
Bro was just happy he had options. Like he was just like, what? There's more than 2. This is a success.
Yep.
Well, tell us a little bit about your story, the Get Involved, which, man, that app is gone now. That's been there since I joined here at SIUE, and now we have this new app. Tell us about that a little bit.
Yeah. So I spoke with people at the Kimmel Hub, and they were telling me that Get Involved is being replaced with Engage, which will be a new student involvement app powered by Suitable. Suitable, if that sounds familiar, was used by the honors program as well. They still use it. So if you're an honors student, then you'll probably be pretty used to Engage already. And it basically takes all the features in Get Involved and kind of soups them up and adds a lot more to it. I believe they told me it's very gamified. So they're like, they give you points for your involvement and stuff, and they're like leaderboards and scorecards and stuff.
No, this is terrible. This is gonna dick to so many people to just trying to win.
Yep.
Especially as a commuter school, like I don't know if many commuters like actually go to clubs. So maybe
No, that's real. I as a commuter involved in too many clubs agree that this is a problem. we need to ban this before it even goes into effect. Okay, interesting. Well, also I hate to be a Debbie Downer here, but I'm gonna keep going. Why are we changing from Get Involved to Engage? We were like just barely changing the name. Can we just keep Get Involved, because that's what I call it? And now I'm gonna say Get Involved, and I mean Engaged.
Yeah.
And it's like a slightly different word.
Get involved just like kind of rolls off the tongue too, doesn't it?
It does.
Get
And it's not
involved.
like I'm not nitpicking between the words. It's just like they're
No.
so similar. Then I've been saying it for the last 3 years. I've been saying, "Oh, well, have you checked get involved?" And now I have to be like, "Oh, well, have you checked engage?" And I know it's a petty thing to be upset about, but as a vice president of a club, like now I have to like burn it into my brain.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
when I don't know if you were here when they changed Cougar Jobline. It was not always Cougar Jobline. It was called something else. So now whenever someone's like, I had someone reach out to me the other day. Do you know how I can apply to the Alestle? And I was like, I think it's Cougar Jobline, but don't quote me on that, you know? Yeah, I don't know. It's just the name changes. They mess me up.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the things that drew me to wanting to report on this story as well, because I'm the president of a service organization on campus. And so, just for my own purposes, I was thinking other people in, a similar position to me probably want to know about this as well. So I might as well get some information out of it while I can, while I have the chance.
Yeah. I'm one of those. I'm the one person that's looking for that. So thank you for your story.
Of course.
Well, you touched on it a little bit. Let's talk about just the summer overall, Gavin. As you mentioned, first full summer as managing editor. The new reporters, a lot of new reporters going into it. Obviously, it's pretty normal for that, but being a bit newer yourself to the role, just kind of talk about filling the position and then how it went working with the reporters, and do you feel like it was a success, which you kind of mentioned?
Well, if you'll let me spin a yarn real quick. Whenever all of the past editors were graduating back in like April and May, I was kind of a little nervous about having so many vacancies in the staff. Just because it's tough to get used to that. Like, it took me a while to get used to being a reporter, and it's taken me a while to get used to being managing editor, honestly. But all of the new reporters and copy editors that we're working with, or before I say that, I should add that I had the privilege of, when I started as a reporter, I started in August, and then whenever we start the fall semester, we have like a reporter boot camp at one of our meetings where we go through all the basics of journalism and reporting and interviewing and all that, and all the editors kind of talk about their expectations for their section, and that kind of gave me a really good orientation as a reporter. So I was a little nervous that the new reporters wouldn't get that right away, but clearly they didn't need it as much as I did, because they just like hit the ground running. All the new staff, they're all incredible to work with so far, and I'm just so, I guess, proud of everybody, just seeing how much everybody's growing already and kind of adjusting to house style and all those weird little intricacies that you have to get used to.
Definitely. Yeah, I always mention, like, my perspective is a bit more outside, being on podcast, not so much seeing the newsroom, except for graphics manager, but I only really work with the editors. So the editors did a great job. I can speak to that fact of just taking that mantle and carrying the torch. Like you mentioned, a lot of open positions, but the reporters, I didn't get to see a lot of that. So I'll be excited when school returns for evaluating how they do as well. No pressure, by the way. My opinion doesn't matter, so you're good even if you don't do well. But yeah, no, I think it seems like it was running really well, and things have been good. The upper echelon of the newspaper have been having high praise. So I think, Leila, that's some credit to you and your new peers. It was in the bag anyway. But yeah, no, the boot camp will be coming up, won't it? Do we have a date for that? Behind the scenes staff conversation right now.
Yeah, just our first in-person staff meeting, probably.
Oh, sweet.
I
Okay.
think we already have some plans for that meeting. So
Show up, everybody.
Yep.
Come and judge us. You're listening to Alestle After Hours, hosted by Sam Murin, the official podcast of The Alestle, SIUE's student newspaper, for all students, faculty, and staff. Podcast will publish on Saturdays at 10 a.m. on Spotify and YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and X for Alestletics, as well as follow the Alestle at alestlelive.com. Now back to the show. So, well, before we get into boot camps and classes and fall, we have summer, but it's almost over. It's kind of like, now that 4th of July is gone, It's like it always flies, doesn't it? So
Yeah.
I figured I'd designate some time to either in memoriam of what's left of summer or to celebrate what's left. I'd ask you both a realistic and unrealistic trip that you would take with the time we have left over the summer. So basically, like for me, it would be cool to like go fishing one more time or whatever. That's realistic. And unrealistic, what would I do if I had unlimited time and money and resources? Where would I go with what's left of the summer? Layla, I'll kick it off to you because you're new, and we'll put the pressure on you. What would you do with the remainder of your summer, realistically and maybe a little unrealistically?
Realistically, I would want to go on a hike. I know there are a lot of good state parks around here. But the only thing is I'm really scared of ticks. So
That's fair.
I
Valid.
hate ticks.
I think I just have to get like some extra tick spray or something like that. Cause I definitely still want to go
Yeah,
like
wear long clothes. You'll be all right.
yeah.
You'll be good.
Unrealistically,
Anywhere. Come on, you could pick anywhere.
I'd go to Paris.
All right. That would be fun. Fun 2-week trip to Paris before coming back to school. You'd
Yeah.
have so many stories to tell everyone, and you could be
Yeah.
like, "Oui, oui," when the professor's like, "Where did you go?" That's all you have to say.
We on buckets.
Yeah, exactly.
And they know. Yeah.
Then they start really talking French, and you have no idea what to say after that.
Yeah.
But you get the first part out.
Well, I've actually been learning French for a few months now, so that's also why I want to go.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
To like test my knowledge,
See how far you can go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Very cool. Gavin, how about you? What is a realistic summer trip and an unrealistic one you see in your future?
Well, I've got a really realistic one. I'm going to Washington D.C. tomorrow,
Oh my gosh.
so
Right.
I don't need to imagine. So that'll be it's for a conference for the service organization I mentioned. Shout out Alpha Phi Omega. So I'm looking forward to that.
How long are you there?
Just the weekend. So
Just
I'm coming back on Sunday.
That's not too bad.
Yeah.
Are you flying?
Yeah, I am flying because
Nice.
the whole conference is actually the what's it called? Like the registration fee is actually super cheap. It's like $25 for the whole thing.
Wow.
And then the flights, if I were to like drive or take a train or something, it cost me like $400 or $500, I think. And the flight's about the same, except my mom hoards airline miles.
Very
so
nice.
she had enough to just like pay off a round trip, like basically for free.
Cool.
Dang,
So-
so bro's traveling for free.
Basically traveling for free.
$25. Do they have food, or you have to pay for your own food?
I believe they have food.
Dang.
They have like dinner on the itinerary.
That's like a free
so-
weekend.
Yeah, right?
Who
It's like,
cares about the conference? Go for just the food and travel.
I'd be crazy not to go, right?
And I guess will you get to see DC at all or no?
Probably not. I don't have a lot of free time. I guess that's like the one downfall of it. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to go regardless. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll get to see the sights from afar.
There you go. Observe it from the window.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what about an unrealistic trip? I know that's a pretty cool one, but if you could take more time to enjoy the sights.
Honestly, I'd probably just go back to Japan because now I feel like I'm bragging a lot.
No,
about my
it's okay.
travel, but,
You can brag.
Well, I went to Japan last summer, but I didn't have a lot of say in what I was doing and everything. And I've just been thinking about the food that I had there lately. That's been on my mind all the time for some reason. Was just some of the food that I had is like mind blowing. I just want to try it again. Like I would go back there, like even if I didn't get to see anything new, like just to have the food again would be great.
Very nice. Okay. Very cool. Well, unfortunately, there's not that much time for a trip, but we do have one exciting scheduled thing to announce, and that's the release of our official publication schedule. Knock on wood. It is liable to change. I should say that. I should start with that, actually. Nothing is ever set in stone. And it could be just because we feel like it. But, obviously there's higher powers that dictate what the schedule is. But as of now, our first print of the fall is August 27th. So you can find new Alestle news content on that date. We then go to every other week of publication. So there will be a publication, off-week publication, and then it also rotates between if we're print or online. So it'll be print, break, online, break, print, repeat. So you'll kind of see that cycle of things as of now. I do believe after the 11/19, which is all the way November, so very far away, but it comes up quick. That is right after that Thanksgiving, so that will be kind of the break for the Alestle. We do have an online publication during December, but then we go for winter break before returning back to school action in January. So that's kind of a little sightline for the future. If you're waiting for more Alestle news, you're gonna have to claw at the table for the next like 3 weeks until the 27th, and I think that is the second week of classes. I'm pretty sure. But also a note of change. We do publish on Thursdays during the semester, during the fall semester and spring semester. Currently, we publish on Wednesdays. Am I making that up? No.
Yes.
Yeah, it is Wednesday. So a bit different there if you're curious.
Oh, I'm going to offer a quick correction.
Uh-oh.
I'm 99% sure that the 27th is the first week of classes.
Okay, never mind.
'Cause
That's a good correction. I was uncertain of that.
Well,
That feels really late.
Yeah, doesn't it? Because I've had it in my head that the 24th is the first day of classes.
Mhm.
So that's been the date that's like engraved in my brain. And I keep having to recheck that myself because I'm like, that seems so late.
Okay. See, I'm glad you said that because I, in my head, probably would have showed up the week prior thinking that we did have class. I feel like it's always like August, like 16th is kind of like the late last day of summer. And then we kind of like either the 17th or the 20th is when class will start. But
Yeah, I think I moved in on like the 13th.
yeah, yes. I don't know. I don't make the school schedule, bro. I just report the Alestle schedule to everyone. So yeah, that's a bit of the Alestle schedule. That is, like Gavin said, probably the second week of classes. So
First week.
wait, no, the 27th when we print will be the second week, right? Or no, that is
That'll be the first
Never
week.
mind. See, I don't know why I'm trying to start school earlier, everyone. I don't know what's wrong with me, but the first week of classes will print. There you go. Quickly into our final segment. Leila, I'll explain this for you because you're probably looking at this paper and you're like, what the heck is this? So this is what we call our obsessions section. Typically, it'll be every 2 weeks when we do the podcast, or every week, depending. And it'll be like, what were you obsessed with this last week? Now, it's summer, so it's like been like 3 weeks since we've done it, but basically it's what are you most obsessed with in recent weeks? For example, mine is I'm finishing up summer classes this next week. I have an exam on Wednesday, papers due, all that. So my obsession is not failing, because not that there's a threat of it. Please, if our professors are listening, please don't change that. I'm doing well. And then the country artist Ella Langley has been dominating my playlist. She just owns it. And so that has been my recent obsession. I've been singing along in the car. I sang along on the way here. I'll probably sing along on the way home. Just Ella Langley, Ella Langley, Ella Langley. So, and I used her like 4 times in one of my classes for like different assignments, because we're talking about media trends and like media culture. So I'm like, well, there's a culture, and I'm like, wait, I kind of used this example already, but you know what? We'll just use it again because it works. So I'll let Gavin go next. That'll give you some time to think about it.
Mine is probably the game Outer Wilds.
Oh,
I just recently finished it. I won't spoil it. But after beating it, I was just like awestruck, like jaw dropped just with like the ending, and like, you know, it makes you think. It really makes it's such a like thinker of a game. And it's one of those games that you can really only play once. Like, it's just not the same. I think Outer Wilds more so than other games. Just because, you know, it's mostly you explore space is basically what it is, and you kind of learn about your surroundings, and you can't unlearn that stuff. So it's just such a thematically strong game, and I've been thinking about it a lot. Shout out to Alestle copy editor Matthew Walden for introducing it to me.
It's so funny. I have a coworker at one of my other jobs that he suggested this game to me. I bought it. I've played the intro to it, like just the beginning, and I haven't touched it in a while because I've just been so busy. But you're the now second and third, because you said Matt introduced you to it. So I will have to get through it. He'll be happy that you brought this up, because it'll force me to play it. My coworker, because he's been like, "Have you played it yet?" And I'm like, no, dude, I don't have time. But no, that's good pick there by Gavin. How about you, Leila? What is your obsession of recent?
So I have a book and some music that I've been listening to. I found this collection called the Smithsonian and Anthology of Hip Hop in the SIUE library, and it has like 9 CDs in there, each according to year, from about like 1979 to maybe like 2010, of like every single like hip hop song that defined the sound. And I've been working my way slowly through that, and so I started with the with the like disco beat rapping. Like it's such a different sound from what we have today. But right now I'm on I don't know exactly what year it is, but I've been listening to the Crossroads and Dear Mama by Tupac, and some stuff by Wu-Tang Clan. So I guess that would be like late 90s. But I've been really enjoying that. I love hip hop, and I love getting to see each stage of that genre that like basically like puts it up to the next level. So like each era has like its own sound depending on the technology that they had available to it, and what everybody was talking about. So yeah, that's been really interesting to work my way through. And then I also finished a novel called Breast and Eggs, and it's by a Japanese woman. I think her last name is Mawakami. I forgot what it's about. I forgot what her name is, but it's about this Japanese woman, and it's about breast and eggs. Her sister like comes to visit her in Tokyo from the hood, basically, in Japan, because she wants to get breast implants so bad, but she basically can't afford like feeding herself and her daughter. But she gets them, and there's this whole breakdown scene where the daughter, like, she doesn't talk to her mom for a long time because she's like, oh, you're gross, why are you doing this? And the daughter and the mom start like splatting eggs over their scalp. It's very powerful. And then the next part of it, this woman whose sister was visiting her in Tokyo, she wants to have a baby, but she is asexual and aromantic. And like egg donors and all that kind of stuff is like very taboo in Japan. And it only happens to same-sex couples very rarely, if ever. So she tries all these different avenues, and I guess it's just an exploration on like women and challenging like gender stereotypes and all that kind of stuff.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Sounds like an interesting read. I'm interested in the hip hop. That sounds really
It
fun.
is.
I'm sure.
And then it comes with a book too.
Oh, that's awesome.
There you go, yeah.
That's really cool. And like you said, it must be so fun just to see the development of music. It kind of makes you like want to go through all the genres and just like learn about like how they originated, and like, oh my gosh, it does not sound like it today. What were they doing then? But no, that's really fascinating too. Very interesting bits of media. Thank you for sharing. With that, we kind of come to the conclusion of our show and the conclusion of 2026's summer for the Alestle and all of its content. It ends with me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking, because there's just so much to be explored. Obviously, on social media, you can stay up to date on that. Any breaking news will hit your email or also be on our social media. So don't forget to follow us on the Alestle at our Instagram, the Alestle on Instagram, obviously, our TikTok, all of our other social media, Facebook, I believe, as well, and our website at alestlelive.com. That's where you can get all the news stories up to date. And if we do have breaking news, that's where you will find it. In terms for this show, you can find this show, the Alestle After Hours, on Spotify and YouTube, as well as Alestletics, which we'll be recording in just a little bit, and then have that available for you. Both are available to you to listen on Saturday at 10 a.m., so don't forget to check those out. Also, by the way, I need to clear the air here. A long time ago, I said that the Alestle podcasts weren't on Apple Music. They automatically go on there. So I don't know why I ever said that, and I found that out recently while I was doing some extensive behind-the-scenes work on both the podcasts. So if you're an Apple listener, you can also enjoy our shows. Congratulations. With that, we will say goodbye for now, but we will join you back in the fall. So guys, thanks for joining me, and everyone, we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Bye.